Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Cryptic Commander. This is your host, Luna. You can check us out over on Facebook at the Cryptic Commander. Here on YouTube, we have Patreon for the Cryptic Commander, and then we have a podcast, Cryptic Commander. It's an easy listen of the year podcast all about Magic the Gathering, where John and Austin do a fantastic job. If you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get a notification every time we upload new videos, and then go ahead and comment down below what kind of future content you would like to see, or maybe even questions for the podcast. Give this video a like, and then we have a subsidiary group, Magic the Gathering Player Group. I'm sure they'd appreciate it if you all would like to check them out. Now, what we're doing today is we are doing Historic Shakeup. Essentially, when they do a Shakeup in Arena, it is a whole bunch of extra band cards. It's like a super band. So we're going to go ahead and choose up our deck. Today, what I'm going to be playing is one of my favorite archetypes. Let's go ahead and check what the deck is. Alright, so I'm not sure if this is best of one or best of three. Best 2 out of 3, I should say. But here's the little tech deck. So we got Fanatical Firebrand. Now this is just a 1/1 for 1 with haste, but it has a nice little ability that you can tap it, sacrifice, and deal 1 damage to any target. Now we are burned, so a lot of our spells will be doing 3 damage. And if it's doing 3 damage, we got to deal that extra damage to get rid of a creature. We got Fanatical Firebrand to help out. We have Get to Lava Runner. 1 mana, 1/2. As long as there are 2 or more instances of sorceries cards in your graveyard, Get You Lava Runner gets +1/+0. Now this is mainly for the wizard. It is a great card that can come down on turn 1, and theoretically on turn 2 it can even be attacking for 2. Then we have Lava Coil. Like I said, I don't know if this is a best of 1 or traditional, so Lava Coil is here for the extra bit of removal. We got 4 Lightning Strikes, so doing 3 damage for 2 mana. Runaway Steamkin, one of the namesakes of this deck. It's a 2 mana 1/1, but a neat thing is whenever you cast a red spell, it gets a counter. If it has 3 counters, you can go ahead, remove those 3, and add 3 mana. We have Ashino Pyromancer, giving a shock to our opponent, also gets the key Wizard trigger. And when I'm talking about the Wizard trigger, it's here at Wizard's Lightning. Wizard's Lightning is a bolt, essentially, as long as you have a Wizard. We have 2 Light Up the Stages, a way to be able to thin through our deck and be able to grab some extra spells. We have 1 Risk Factor, just little shenanigans to be able to get some extra card draw, even hit our opponent for some burn. Early on, we know we're going to get the card draw. Realistically, it will do 4 damage, though. Late game, we're going to get that card draw 9 times out of 10. Skewer the Critics, we got 3 in here just because it is sorcery speed, so we can only do it on our turn. But we're spectacling for a bolt. We have Goblin Channeler, which is fantastic when we're dealing against a token strategy, or even if elves, just a bunch of small creatures. The fact that it has First Strike is amazing. We got 2 Experimental Frenzies in the deck. Experimental Frenzy is a 4-drop enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. You can't play lands or cast spells from your hand. You pay 4 and destroy it. So essentially, we run out of cards, we play this, and if we at least have 2 Experimental Frenzies on the board, we can essentially play out our whole deck if we need to. Theoretically, at least, because we do have some 4-drops. We got Rekindling Phoenix. Again, this is here, because I'm not sure if this is a best of 1 or a best 2 out of 3, but Rekindling Phoenix is something to do with the air, and it has recursion, so it's a good blocker, and also the fact that it has an air threat, it a lot of times goes over the board, it's an extra win con. And Torben, if you're going to play a red deck, you got to play Torben. If a red source would deal damage to an opponent, or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. So essentially, if we're going to burn somebody with the Wizard's Lightning, it's going to do 5 damage. And then if we Chain Whirler, that's bolting everything our opponent owns. We got 4 Castle Embereths and then 14 Mountains. The Castle Embereth is pretty much just a pump land. And we're running so low because most of our stuff we can get out really quickly and efficient. For a sideboard, 2 Abrades, Electrostatic Field in case we had to go in a grindier match. Response to Resurgence. We're never going to play the Resurgence, but essentially the response is just we have a bigger way to deal with our creatures' threats. Active Treason in case they get a big threat we can't deal with, and we're just going to take it. Phoenix of Ash is somehow we end up with a mill deck, and we need to be able to have Graveyard Recursion. Tybalt is here as a card to stop our opponent from life gain. There is some life gain decks in there. Maybe we should add 2 of these, but for now we're going to stick with 1. And then Banefire, just as an extra win con. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the Historic Shakeup, and we're going to try playing a few matches and see how we do. Burn for me is the first deck I actually played. I started over in BFC, and then like my first event I ever jumped into, I didn't know what Legacy was. Like, oh, Magic, let's play. So I did a horrible, but I had so much fun and I got addicted my first time playing. Eventually, I went to a mono red burn, and now personally for modern, I play a Naya burn. Okay, so this one is a little bit odd. We do have 2 cards that are going to be coming down late game, but we do have 3 lands and we have 2 lava runners. As long as we can grab some instant sorceries quick, I think we can do it. All right, we got our holiday theme going on. So there's a possibility that keeping this was a very risky hand, especially since we have a 3-drop and a 4-drop, but having 3 lands is the whole reason I kept this, because right now we can go ahead, get to Lava Runner on the battlefield, hit our opponent next turn, and we have an extra get to backing it up. The one thing I will say about the standard Shakeup, which very surprised me with having it's pretty much a super banned, is the Neoform deck. I don't think a single piece of that Neoform deck is banned. But I wanted to play something a little different. Alright, so our opponent's on life gain. So we're going to go ahead. They're not going to want to lose that, so we're going to bolt it, but first we're going to go ahead and attack. So realistically, it is mono-white life gain, so they're going to get the Soul Sisters. Heliod is definitely their best card in this deck. I think if they can get Heliod down, we really struggle. All right, they got their tapped land. We're going to go ahead. We know they're only going to take the 4. We could have triggered for the extra damage, but I guess if we did that, we would have got some damage in and did the next thing, but I want to get as many creatures down on the field first before they can gain any life off of our creatures. All right, Daxos. That is something. Okay, we got a burn spell. I think we're just going to go ahead and pull it off now. They will gain a little bit of life, but now we get our 2 instants or sorceries, which are the sorceries in the graveyard. So now we're able to do 5 damage, and we're going to rush your opponent really quickly. And next turn we still have risk factor. Even if we get the 4th land, we'll probably experimental frenzy. Alrighty, our opponent probably, if they don't have a creature, I'm not sure what our opponent's going to do. Yep, they got their angel. Alright, so we got a burn spell, so we don't need to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and bolt the angel. And then we're going to go ahead swinging in for 5. And risk factor now is a card where it's guaranteed we're going to draw some cards. Shalai is a bit of a problem since we can't really get around it. So we're going to go ahead and risk factor since we know... Wait, it's a target opponent. Oh, alrighty then. Oh, that's not good. So I guess we'll experimental frenzy. We can't burn out our opponent, but we can go ahead and burn this. But for now... we're just going to go ahead and get in the damage while we can. We're going to hold this off just in case we only draw a bolt off the top. Try to get in that extra damage. So we're losing out a lava runner, but that is fine. Yeah, because if we can pull a bolt with experimental frenzy, we're doing great. So this is going to go into our hand. We're not going to be able to play the land. We do have 4. I think it'll be fine, because we can't bolt down our opponent. All right, Sarah, that is a problem. So our opponent with angels. There is that one card that allows you to, if I remember correctly, gain life whenever an angel enters the battlefield. Okay, so right here. Yeah, that was good to see. So we're going to go ahead, Lava Coil the Shalai, get rid of their hexproof. I like to see the steam kill. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to swing in. We're only going to be able to get a little bit of damage in. We're realistically only 1. But since we know we're getting an extra damage, we have 1 Steamkin on board. So as long as we can get a burn spell, we got this game. Because we're going to get them down to 1 life. And if we can just pull a burn spell, we're good. Yeah, they're different with the angel plan. Alright. Completely forgot that we can't play out of or that was going to go into our hand. So I'm saying all kind of shenanigans. Alright, we can't get in anywhere. This is going to be going to our hand as well. So we can get our opponent down to 1. They can start gaining life though, which is a huge problem. So we are in a very interesting predicament. I guess, yeah, they can give that life link. Can't block it. Can hit our opponent for 1 damage, but they also, this is flying in vigilance. They would be able to make the blocker say, we're going to pass. I mean, push comes to shove. If they don't go for the life gain, then all we're doing is going to blow up Experimental Frenzy, play at our mountain, and then Vishino Pyromancer them. But realistically, they're going to give that the life link. They're going to go up 5. They're going to make the angel, and we're going to hit for 7. Yeah, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Can't block anything. We're just going to take it. They will make their angel. And we're in a weird spot now. Okay, so that's another Experimental Frenzy, which is not good. We can cash this in, but they're just... Okay, so we can't win this. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and concede, because all we can do is that's going into our hand. They're just going to keep gaining life, keep making angels. We're dead next turn. So GG's. Good for them. Alrighty. It happens. I still have confidence in my burn. Alright, we're going to try this one more time. And maybe a few more after that. We had our opponent down so low, it's just they had the hexproof and they had the life gain. Alright, we're ready. Jump to the next one. So it is best of 1, okay. So we got a creature for turn. We can play out our hand essentially. So they're probably playing a tempo deck. No, they're playing mill. Intriguing. So we'll play this. Next turn, we're just gonna lava coil that. They're just gonna block it, so there's no point on trying to attack it. Nice, so they're going to be able to mill us for what? Yeah, 6 this turn. It's not good. Using that on our burn spells is not beneficial for us, especially since all we want to do is burn our opponent's face for this deck. So yeah, we're going to be able to Castle Embereth. We'll Lava Coil that, hit them for 1. I mean, there is some cards that can save them. I think save the Rune Crab. If you can save the Rune Crab, we're not in a good spot. Okay, we're good. So we stop the mill for now. There's still mill shenanigans they can do, but for now we're good. Okay, so we've lost quite a few burn spells, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, against them, we're going to want to get as aggressive as possible. So I'd like to be able to hit this with a bunch of creatures, but we need to get in the damage now, and we need to be able to be as aggressive as possible. This next turn, we can either go for Castle Embereth on the field, play out our land, or we hold off and we go ahead and double burn them. So we are getting milled for 2. So our opponent's mono blue mill. Alright, so yeah, this is what I'm doing instead. Gonna go ahead, play out the Pyromancer. Gonna hit them. Go ahead, lightning strike them. And then swing all out. So getting our opponent down to 8. We're presenting lethal, because we have the Castle Embereth and we also have the Wizard's Lightning. So as long as our opponent doesn't, I guess they would have to have a creature. I know the story, they're milling us for 4. But I think we're going to be fine. They are drawing into a lot of answers. Okay, that's fine. We'll mill out some more cards. We're quite a ways away. So essentially I have to figure out what do I want to do. I will have an extra land. So what I do is I play out Castle Embereth, I Wizard's Lightning that, and I pump Embereth, go for GG's. Yeah, good game. Or I could just play Torben. So now I have 2 strategies. I can either play Torben, and I could just play everything out, Yeah, I think that's probably a smart move. Just all attack. And then have Wizard's Lightning for the backup. GG's. I guess I didn't have to Wizard's Lightning, because that was, what, 4, and then that was another 3, so that's 7. Yeah, they would have, actually, I had to Wizard's Lightning. So I was adding an extra 5 damage, and they would have been at 1 life. Alrighty, well, we got our sleeves. Let's see what we got with the land. Experience, the Nyx Herald. Alright, let's jump on in again. Let's see. Out of 5 matches, how many do we win and how many do we lose? Right now, we're 1-1. Alright. So we really want to be on the play with this type of deck. I don't know if we can keep this. We cannot keep this because we have 2 4-drops, only 1 land. We may be able to go Lava Runner into Light of the Stage, hope to get out a land, maybe draw a land, but it's just 2 4-drops. We can't keep this. This is another hand which is really odd. If we can, I'm gonna try it, just because that's a lot of burn we can do. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna play out our land. What would have been nice if one of these would have been a creature. I think it'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead, Lava Coil, whatever they're playing. Hopefully we can get a creature off. Alright, so we're playing against Merfolk. So yeah, we're just going to... Actually, we're going to save off the coil, and we're just going to go ahead, cast the Skewer now, and get rid of the Silvergill. So if we don't draw into some creatures, we're going to be in a bit of a predicament. Alright. Alright, we got Gitu. I think what we do here is we just go ahead Wizard's Lightning that. Yeah, I'm going to Wizard's Lightning that and swing in for 2. They might have the counter, but yeah, okay, we're good. They could have the flash creature, which they do in hand, but we also have a lightning, so it's not a problem. That resolves before blockers. We go ahead and burn it. We'll cook us some fish. And we have 2 removal spells left in hand. It would be nice to draw into another creature next turn, because our opponent is full of cards in hand. Alright, we got a creature. And we have instant speed, so we're going to hit him for 3. And we're going to hold off the Lightning Strike to get rid of a creature. If they go ahead and flash something in. Alright, so they flashed in Merfolk Trickster. So we're just going to go ahead and burn that now. Because they have another flash creature, they have it. Yeah, they got another flash creature, okay. It is what it is. So realistically, they're just going to block our 1/1. Alrighty, so what a bit of Merfolk shenanigans happening. Alright. Chain Whirler would be nice, but oh wow, that was a really good Merfolk hand. Alright, Chain Whirler. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and Chain Whirler. This unfortunately doesn't do as much as we would like, but we're going to go ahead and attack. So no matter what, they block. So yeah, they'll just take it. This is unblockable, but we can take out any of their other creatures. Oh, yep, forgot about them. Alright, so Merfolk, I don't think we kept the smartest of hands, and that was my bad. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Lava Coil. Get rid of that. This is probably what I should have done first, is Lava Coiled, and then Chain Whirler. They're in a pretty good spot. We're at 7. Yeah, we have to use this to burn a creature. We'll go ahead and actually we're just going to play defensively. We know we're going to take 1, but we can block both of these. We have no vigilance, so no attacks. We're going to take 1. Alright, that happens. Experimental Frenzy, we can't even play it. So, I mean, our opponent has a 6-turn clock. I kind of made a mistake and I should have played it differently where I first got rid of the creature that I could. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of the Cloak Herald and force our opponent to attack us with other things that are not unblockable. No attacks, because we can't deal with the 4 damage. Our opponent has a faster clock than we do. Alright, I like seeing that. So now we can go ahead and attack with the Channeler as long as this resolves. They might have a flash creature, which would be funky. They have shown quite a bit of it. Alright, so Essence Capture, that definitely is a card. No attacks. So now we can block with the Merfolk Trickster with our Goblin Channeler. There is a chance that they have another Merfolk Trickster. We'll tap down our Channeler and they just start going beats. Because we have to block the Silver Gilded deck with our Gitu. Yeah, so we have to block like this. Alright, so we lose 1 creature, but now we have the advantage. I'm going to go ahead next to combat and just hold Wizard Lightning to go ahead and remove one of our opponent's threats. Alright, so go ahead, and then if they have a creature, just go ahead and burn it. Yep, resolves. And we're going to try to fight through. Hope that last card in their hands is not a counterspell. If it is, it is. Yep, they got us. Alright, so we're going to take 3, go down to 2. Which we have to deal with that Brazen Bar, which as long as this resolves, we got it. So is it a counterspell? Is it not? Unsummon, okay. That happens. Unfortunately, that's just GG's. Even if we attack, that has flying, they flash it in. Yeah, good game. Our opponent got us. Yeah, I just made a mistake play where I should have first Lava Coil, taken some extra damage, and then played the Channeler. Because if I would have done it that route, I would have board wiped them. Except their 1 creature. So we are currently 1-2. Hopefully we can get a win streak in our next 2 and at least have a winning deck. Alright, so this is a lot better. We have 2 creatures to start out with. We have Burn Spell and we have Goblin Channeler. Then play our land and start aggressive. I like the little snow animation. Alright, so we're probably playing up against a control deck. Alright, we could have skewered, but I want to hold off on that. So yeah, we'll go ahead, I'll attack. And we're going to hold that off, because we have Wizard Lightning. We don't know where our opponent's going to play. So they're at Esper, control. Play our land, and see what they do. So right now we're just going to keep poking them. Oh, alright, our opponent's had enough. I'm guessing they just had a bunch of counter spells in hand. And if we're not going to play anything, we're not going to get countered. Been a very slow clock, but we had a clock. Alrighty. 2-2. Feeling good. We are ready. Alright, so 2 land. We're going to hold off to play anything until turn 2. We got our Steamkin, so we're going to be able to... Oh, hello. Opponent's playing red. So in this case, yeah, I want to pass turn, play the Steamkin, turn 3, play both of these. Oh, interesting. Opponent is on Mardu. So yeah, we go ahead. Actually, yeah, we're going to go ahead and play the land. We're going to double play both of these. I'm not quite sure what our opponent's on. And we're going to go ahead and hit our opponent for 5. Next turn we have 4 bolt. I think 4 damage just by shocking. Alright, they got his finger. Alright. Go ahead and hit off both of the Pyromancers. Get your opponent down to 11. We'll probably risk factor next turn and then go swinging. Well, they got the Clarion. That was just, yeah, they're so Mardu control. So we're gonna go ahead risk factor. I'm probably just gonna take it. Yep. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and play out our Get You Lava Runner. Mardu control. Don't think I've seen that deck. Alright, so do we risk factor or do we Pyromancer? We Pyromancer now. We go ahead and hit them for 3 more, getting down to 4, and that makes it so they don't want a risk factor. Yeah. So hopefully we can draw into a land, because next turn they're going to start making tokens. Alright, so we'll go ahead. Theoretically, whatever we draw, we're just going to risk factor it away. I don't know if I want to risk factor that away, because it will keep getting bigger over time. But drawing 3 cards off of it, I mean, if we Steamkin, we do have a 1/1, but it also will keep growing, and we still can risk factor. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. You know, probably making the wrong play, but I'm gonna risk factor here, so I can get. They're not taking the damage. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and get this creature off the board, hit them for 1, and have Experimental Frenzy all loaded up. Because now they're just bolt away. And they don't have blue up, so they're not going to counter it. That's a lot of merriments. They're very merry, but we're going to go ahead and say GG. Alright, we got him. Bolted them out. We're doing pretty good. What, 3-2 now? We're going to go ahead and jump into one more game. See how we do. Take the gold and we'll take the experience. Alright, Fateful End. Alright, this is probably going to be our last game. Let's see how we do. I really like the strategy of just rushing your opponent and just burning them out. I remember playing in my LGS where I would just have cards in hand and the opponent would be at 3 and just asking them, what's your life total at? It just felt so good. Top deck that bolt and just be able to burn them down. It's a bit of a fair strategy, but the fact that I can play it out here in Historic, it feels nice. So yeah, we're going to hold off and play anything on turn 1, so we can go ahead and just get our Steamkin down. So then we'll play our Steamkin, and then we have, if we can draw another land, we'll Pyromancer, burn them. If not, we have our Gitsu. Alright, so we're going against a black deck. So we're going to go ahead, Steamkin. Is our opponent on zombies? Interesting. Yeah, we're taking it. Alright, so since we got the land, we're going to go ahead, Pyromancer, and then we're going to skewer the critics, their Crypt Breaker. Go in swinging, hit him for 3. So now that we've done this, we're playing another card. Okay, so we're going to probably want to Lava Coil that. We're going to go ahead and get rid of our Experimental Frenzy. It is a nice card to have, especially with a Steamkin out. Alrighty, what do we discard? So we want both of these, but I think we need the Lava Coil a bit more. Probably, yeah. This is sorcery speed. We can take out either of them. So we're going to go ahead next to combat. We're going to see what our opponent does. Alright, now that they've done that, we're going to hold off Lava Coil for something bigger. We're going to go ahead and Pyromancer them. We can use Lava Coil now, but I don't feel comfortable doing that, just leaving us off with a 2-2. Alright, that happened. Yep. It's cool that this was designed by the Magic community. Alright. They have their Lord. Does give things Death Touch. And so we didn't draw into a burn spell. So what do we do here? No matter what, we'll end up losing out on the Steamkin. Pyromancer probably won't get through. I'm going to go all attacking. Probably they're going to block here. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and play our Chain Whirler next. That's a nice combo. Death Baron with discard, some hand hate, and if our opponent's getting rid of it. If your opponent was getting rid of creatures, we will make the zombies, giving them Death Touch. Your Supplier comes down with Death Touch, but we can Chain Whirl, but the problem is that they do have 2 creatures up. I guess we could just fully attack. If they double block, they double block. Okay, turn your Crypt Breaker. That just makes things a little more funky. Another land, actually. Yeah, I'm just gonna go all out attacking, and then go ahead and buff up with Castle Emberth, hoping that they double block on Chain Whirler. Okay, that happened. So we're gonna lose out on our Vishino Pyromancer. Do they activate the ability of... Okay, so yeah, they activated the ability. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and lose out our Vishino Pyromancer. But we're still at an advantage. Because we have our 3-3 with First Strike. The fact that we have First Strike is a huge bonus. We have no cards for them to make us discard. Okay. They get it. And we can still attack and buff up with our castle. We're going to take it. So we're both in top deck mode. Yeah, we're going to go ahead, hit down Chain Whirler, get the extra damage in. Just so now we have 2 First Strikers. And our opponent is put in a very weird predicament. Because now they can't attack with their Death Baron. And now we have lethal presented with First Strike. And we aren't discarding anything. Yeah, our opponent has to block, or else they're dead. Oh, well, I guess we're going to get a cheap light at the stage, and hopefully we can get out a burn spell with that. So yeah, we're going to next damage. Alright. GG's. Alright. Well, we ended up 4-2. I feel good about how this deck went. I hope you all enjoyed this video. There's definitely a lot of interesting decks. I haven't seen that Angels deck before. I've seen the mono white life gain, the Boros control. It's interesting. I don't know what our opponent was going to do with their Esper control. We never did saw it. We just went ahead and aggroed out our opponent, which was fun to do, to be able to say no to a no player. I've had a good time here on the Cryptic Commander. I hope you all had a good time watching if you're on the go or at home. Go ahead and check us out over at Facebook at the Cryptic Commander. Hit up our Patreon if you would like. Check out anywhere where you listen to podcasts, the Cryptic Commander podcast, where John and Austin do a fantastic job making it easy to listen on the ears podcast, all about Magic the Gathering. Check out our subsidiary group, Magic the Gathering Player Group. I'm sure they would truly appreciate it. Anyway, this was Luna, the Cryptic Commander, and y'all have a wonderful day.